Last race in Indianapolis, tensions ran high.
Say it to me. Have a little spine.
Unfortunately for John, I know what's going on.
Force cheats. He was my friend. He ain't my friend no more.
Chip, and the NHRA heat is intense. Who knows what will happen next? Well, Tony Pedregon, one of the men in that far-end competition
see that
for
over and
Indianapolis,
over again.
is here, ladies and gentlemen. How about it for Tony Pedregon? Tony, as you can hear, there are still some lines drawn in the sand over what went down in Indianapolis. Without going back yet, how do we move forward? What's going on between you and John
We're
now?
already here. I thought you guys wanted to talk about the weather, but, you know, we love these fans.
It's a beautiful day, by the way.
Hey, I got to tell you, we love these fans, and, you know, without them, we don't have much of a sport. So I'm all for the passion that they have, the good letters, the bad letters, the controversy. In the end, you know, they're here, and yeah, I saw Sports Center. John needs that for his sweat more than I need it for crying. But we've already
move over here.
Hey, if these guys, if they only knew where I came from. Hey, I was taught to fight when I was younger, so hey, this is a normal thing. I understand how it works. If I was in 20th place, nobody would have a problem with my opinion. But hey, we're the guys on top, so they're
We've even got proof.
They're going to fire shots at us.
There, huh?
Hey, John and I go back a long ways. We do, believe it or not, we've got feelings for one another. We just had a little disagreement. I have some disagreements with my wife once in a while. It doesn't last that long, but we're already down the road, and it's going to be a great event today, and it's probably a pretty good way to start this countdown.
Well, you came up here, Tony. I didn't know whether I should move away from you or just move closer so they can get us in one shot. But I got to ask, you know, you took a little bit of heat this week saying there's some hypocrisy about the fact that you won your championship in 2003, that maybe you should give back that trophy because of what you said happened. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's probably a matter of opinion. I think Whit Bazemore has spoken. You know, that's a good thing, because I always believed then, as a driver, I was under contract, so I was very limited to what I could say. I never made any of those decisions. So if Whit wants to call me a hypocrite, I think he needs to look in the mirror too, because there were some issues about lane choice and some other races. So the fact is, it's never going to be a perfect sport. I simply stepped out. I stuck my neck out like I've done a lot in my career. I'm not afraid to do that, because I think we all saw one race, and there were a lot of circumstances surrounding that, and I know I'm not alone, because we all saw the same thing, and that's really what the big debate is.
You spent 8 years at John Force Racing. You said you know what goes on. What goes on? What went on?
Well, you guys have asked me up and down, and I really kind of feel like John on this issue. But I'll say this. In my career, I was never asked to throw a race. I never threw a race. Now, you take a look at the pattern of my car, if you want to go back in time. So when I say I've got some credibility, I've got some history, but these are questions that John Force needs to ask. I know they've been presented to him. I saw him on Sports Center last night. I don't know that he answered the question, so I'm going to do my little tap dance, because I did agree with John that we want to get past this. I know you guys want to show, but we want to get on the track, and we want to race, and we want to give these people a good show.
Well, speaking of dancing, it does take two to tango, and with the other half of this confrontation, John Force, anybody with Gary Gerald.
And a very simple question for John. Are you at peace with Tony Pedregon going into today's action?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I just want to keep my focus and get out there and do what we do, give the fans a great show.
Is it difficult to keep your focus in light of what is going on?
They've had me screwed up so bad this week that I forgot why I came. And the only guy who's made me feel good all week is Phillips. Going to beat up that other guy on the motorcycle. So, God bless him. No, we're okay. Nope, need to move on, or be somebody else wanting to beat me up next week. You know, I'm still trying to figure out if Jay still hates me. Then a guy writes on ESPN.com some big old story about I don't get enough sex. I don't even know where that come from, which that's probably the only true thing I've heard lately. And he says that there was a big chance to build the sport, and I threw it all away. And hell, maybe I don't know what I'm saying. He interviewed me. I guess I must have told him that. But I was told I couldn't run that race because it was illegal to do a match race with Tony. You even know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about. But I know when I get in that race car, in that Ford Mustang, for Castrol and everybody, Auto Club, I know what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to get back in the groove today and get back where I belong and get out of Hollywood.
All right, we got to go, John. Have a good, safe day.
Love you, Mike, and love Jay.
Of course, Jay, is the Sports Center announcer that was conducting that interview. The 20 grand, the match race, that's what Marcus Smith put up. But it is, after all about the countdown to the championship. And you can see Tony Pedregon leads that countdown as positions 2 through 6 actually lost ground. As far as the bonus points go, Robert Height and Mike Ashley picked up the most. They came up +4. All right, time now to ask about your favorite rivalry. Fan question. Where's Angela from Richmond? Fire away. You got a great rivalry question.
Hey, Tony, what's your favorite NHRA rivalry of all times?
Well, I can tell you which is the least favorite, and that's probably this one I'm going through right now.
That's what makes it a rivalry, though.
But, you know, going back to when I drove for John for all those years, the late, great Al Hoffman, that was, you know, there was a lot that went down. We should. I better understand Al Hoffman's position now than I did when I was a hired driver, because, again, when you're a driver, you're very limited. There's a little bias that exists, but I think he was a great driver. I think that Al was very courageous in being able to stand up. It's tough to stand up to the guy that's on top, to the big corporations. Al always did it. He did it then. He backed up what he said and what he did on the racetrack, and I thought it was a big rivalry back then. It still is.
Good stuff. Tony, stick around a little bit. We'll be catching him up on the backside.